You wake up and everything looks fuzzy. You blink and the world clears, like ripples in a puddle disappear. You don't really care if everything's fuzzy. You just happen to blink. You don't remember getting up, but you're not in bed anymore. You're on the scale, checking your weight. The needle hasn't settled yet. It bounces back and forth. 120, 90, 110, 100, 105, 90. It settles on 96. Good. That's okay. For now. For that, you treat yourself to breakfast. Dry cornflakes. They sit in a bowl, smiling up at you with little golden faces. No sugar. Or milk. Definitely not milk. Not yet. You will have milk, you tell yourself, just after the next few pounds. But you've said that before, and you know it's a lie. The curved surface of the spoon reflects back a bloated image of your face. For a second you panic, until you realize it's just the spoon. 96, you think. You pick up the spoon and eat the cornflakes, their little faces screaming in terror. When you're done, more than half the bowl is still left. It goes in the garbage. You can't face school, not today. So you stay at home. Your parents don't even notice, if they're home. You're not entirely sure they are. The school won't notice. No one ever notices you anyway. At first you go down to the basement and run. You run on the treadmill until you can't think, until the whole world dissolves except for the sound of your breathing and the soft padding of your sprinting feet. You run and run and run and run and run and run and run until even that falls apart and you're lying on the floor gasping for breath. And when that happens, you get back on the treadmill and run until your body can't run anymore. Then you keep running. After the treadmill, you go on the computer and try to finish your homework, but the screen keeps swimming before your eyes and you feel like you're going to fall over even though you're sitting down. You close your eyes and breathe. You're used to this. This always happens after you run, or walk, or move suddenly. It happens so often you barely even notice it anymore. You just need to relax. But even once the feeling's gone, you find it hard to concentrate on work. With no other activities coming to mind, you go back upstairs to your room and pull the scale out from under your bed. Numbers roll around under the red needle, making your head hurt. 100, 80, 105, 90, 100, 90. Your breath catches. Could it have dropped that much since this morning? You unconsciously cross your fingers like you did when you were little. But no, the needle bounces back and comes to a tentative stop just below 96. You let out a breath you hadn't realized you were holding. You're still the same. A little better, actually. The cornflakes didn't make the numbers go up, and even though they're still the same, you don't mind too much, because it's better than nothing. It's almost worth lunch. But you already had breakfast, and your parents will expect you to eat at least something for dinner. You decide not to risk it. You do have some juice, though. Fruit punch. Afterwards, you hear it splashing around in your empty stomach while you walk. It sounds exactly like when you pour your medicine down the drain. At this point, you don't even feel the hunger anymore. You can sense its presence, clawing at your insides, clamoring for sustenance. But it's been there for so long it doesn't bother you anymore. It doesn't hurt. In fact, you almost find it comforting. Can't imagine living without it. It's like a parasite. You know it could be deadly. You should get rid of it. But you can't bear to, because you need it just as much as it needs you. In the afternoon, you first try watching TV, but all the gorgeous models and actresses with their cheap, thick, thin bodies taunt you, smirking, smug. They seem to scream at you, "Ha! We can be beautiful and thin and have all the boys stare at us when we walk by, but you will never have that. You are a loser." So when the tears start to fall from your cheeks onto your lap, you turn the TV off. You consider going to the park. No one there will recognize you, and it's a short walk. Short enough you might be able to pull it off without the neighbors seeing it. You get as far as stepping out the door, but the feel of wind on your skin and the sound of birds and the sheer enormity of the world forces you back inside, pushing the door closed behind you. Most of the time you can go outside and you're fine. But sometimes, every now and then, it's all too overwhelming and you have to stay inside. Those are the worst times, when even nature seems to be against you. Since there's nothing else to do, you go back into the basement and run more. You run and run and run. For 2 hours, the only sounds you hear are your heavy breathing and your feet repeatedly hitting the conveyor belt. When you finally stop to take a break, you check the mileage on the treadmill. You've run 22 kilometers since this morning. Good. Not quite as much as usual, but still. Like everything else, it'll have to do for now. After a glass of water and no energy bar, you get back on the treadmill and run until you reach 30. You pretend your parents are behind you, getting back from work with dinner. You imagine you can smell the burgers and deep-fried fat from here. That always makes you run faster. When you hear the door open, you jump from the treadmill and shut it off. Your parents might not pay that much attention to you. They can sense something's wrong, and if they catch you running too much, they might realize what's going on. And if they found out, then they would make you stop. But no matter how much you hate it, how much you wish it would just stop, at the same time you don't really want it to. In fact, you can't let it happen, not as long as your stomach bulges up and out over the waistband of your jeans, not as long as the same jeans are stretched tight by your huge thighs. Because even though the fat is still there, if you stop, it'll get worse, more noticeable, until it's like it used to be and everyone laughs behind their hands and whispers when they don't think you can hear. Footsteps sound on the stairs, and soon afterwards your parents appear, one after the other, Mom and Dad. carrying, as you feared, brown bags from the local fast food place, the grease already starting to soak through the paper. They hold them up as if they're a special treat, as if you aren't forced to eat the disgusting, fat-filled food that seems to be every other day. It's your favorite, they tell you. You assume they mean from before, but you can't remember ever liking grease. You feel your knees start to shake and sit down before they give out. Your parents drop your dinner in your lap, and then abruptly start up a conversation, mostly made up of them complaining about the faults of their coworkers. They don't even notice when you leave and throw most of your burger out. By the time you get ready for bed, fat-filled dinner and all, you've managed to burn almost a pound. That's good. You don't usually lose that much. A pound is good. You can have milk soon. Not yet, but soon. You lie in bed, staring at the ceiling and waiting for sleep to come. But it doesn't. It evades you, and as you lie there, you find tears starting to roll down your cheeks. You try to stop them, but it doesn't seem like you have any control over it. You think there was a time before this. You're not sure. You can't remember it well. But you think so. A time before the weight had to go. A time before all the food seemed to disappear. You miss it. Sort of. Then again, you're fine here. And you're doing better than expected. 96. Last week you were between 98 and 99. You feel a small smile play across your lips. It doesn't reach your eyes, though. Nothing does anymore. As you lie there, salt water dripping into your mouth, everything comes rushing back. Everything anyone said, all the times when you realized that someone, yet another friend, hated you. Everything. And as you sit there, you wish it would change. You wish that the disgusting rules of fat would disappear and that you could just be normal for once in your life. But you know that that won't happen unless you work for it. And so, even though you wish it would stop, wish it with your whole body, you know what you have to do. You have to eat less, run more. Otherwise, how will you ever lose any weight? And really, it's not so bad. You're fine. Tired, but fine. But as you roll over on your side, sleep finally coming to take you away to dreamland, you wonder, am I fine? Yes. No. Maybe.